Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillahi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. All praise is due to Allah, we praise Him, we seek His help and we seek His forgiveness, we seek refuge in Allah from the evil of ourselves and the evil of our actions. Whomever Allah Azza wa Jal guides, none can misguide, and whomever Allah Azza wa Jal leads astray, none can guide. And I bear witness that there is no God or deity worthy of worship but one, Allah alone, and I bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is His slave and His messenger. Allahumma alimna ma yanfa'na wa anfa'na bima 'allamtana wa zidna 'ilma. I ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to teach us what benefits us and to benefit us with what He has taught us and to increase us in Islamic knowledge. I ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to reward you all for attending in this cold and to make this heaviness because of a good deed on the day of judgment. And lastly, I ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to protect, safeguard and grant victory to our brothers and sisters in Palestine. Allahumma ameen. Alhamdulillah, after a long mini series from the story of Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, in the last session we finalized the story of Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. And as mentioned throughout the series, is the purpose behind the stories of the prophets is not for entertainment purposes, but in fact the story that we're going to read and dissect and subhanAllah dive in is to see what is relatable in this asr, in this day and age, and how we can connect with the prophets and connect with their stories. And that's the main purpose behind the stories of the prophets, and that's the reason why they're actually mentioned in the Quran. Okay, this is something that we need to understand and comprehend. As we remember, the Quran isn't a book of tariq, of history, but in fact it's a book of guidance, of hidayah. And Allah Azza wa Jalla, from the many thousands of prophets, He chose 25 to share with us so we can learn. And it is a story, and they are stories that benefit us until the end of time. And today's story is no different, subhanallah. Today we want to begin with the story of Prophet Shuiab alayhi salatu wassalam. And if we remember, many people want to say that Islam is a religion of Arabs. And in fact, the reality from the 25 that were mentioned in the Quran, 25 prophets that are mentioned in the Quran, only 4 of them are actually Arabs. The rest weren't Arabs. These 4 prophets who were Arabs were Hud alayhi salam, Salih alayhi salam, Shuaib alayhi salatu wasalam, and lastly our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. The rest 21 prophets are all Ajam, they are all non-Arab, subhanallah. So this kind of indicates to us that Islam, it does not target a specific nationality, but in fact it targets us all as human beings. So I ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to unite the ummah going forward, inshallah. Shuaib, he was sent to a tribe in Jordan called Madian. Madian, this tribe is called Madian because of a prophet. And this prophet, wallahu ta'ala alam, was the son of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam. Yes, the third son of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam was called Madian. And from that descendant came Shuaib alayhi salatu wasalam. And that tribe was called Madian. So subhanallah, he's also one of the grandsons of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam. And as you remember, Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam was nicknamed the father of prophets because all of the prophets came from his descendants, subhanallah. Shuaib alayhi salatu wasalam was mentioned 11 times in the Quran. As we mentioned, he was sent to the people of Madian, and this place, which is in Jordan, was very close to the tribe that Lut alayhi salatu wasalam was sent to. And this is going to come very important towards the end of today's lesson, bi'idhnillah azza wa jal. The people of Madian, they disbelieved in Allah azza wa jal. They disbelieved in Allah azza wa jal. They associated partners with Allah azza wa jal with trees. And that's why the other name is Ashabul Aykah. They were called the people of Al-Aykah, which translates to Akai Siha trees. So it's like a tree that has like a massive branch on top, and it kind of covers, it's like one whole branch, and then subhanAllah, this tree with its leaves, it comes out like this, and it's like they stay underneath it and they worship it. Other ulama say no, it's a group of trees that had the same let's say description, where they go in and it kind of covers them and it shelters them. So they disbelieved and associated with Allah Azza wa Jal these type of trees. With that, يعني subhanallah ليس بعد الكفر إلا الضل. As soon as you disbelieve in Allah Azza wa Jal, whatever comes after is always going to be the same. Because the worst sin that you and I can do, and the worst crime that you and I can do, is shirk, associating partners with Allah Azza wa Jal. But that's not the only thing that they did. That's the worst. What comes with it also is something that it's going to happen. It's automatically going to occur. What they did, as Allah Azza wa Jal described in the Quran, they, subhanallah, were قطاع طرق. They were bandits, pirates, whatever you want to nickname them. And they, subhanallah, used to cut the road. قطاع طرق, that's what the nickname. They used to, anyone that's going and traveling, they would stop them, threaten them. If you don't give me your money, I'm going to kill you, so on and so forth. That's one of the sins they did. The other thing they used to do is that they used to cheat in trade. They used to cheat in trade, subhanallah. These are some of the sins and the crimes that they committed in subhanallah, in the Asr of Madian with Shuaib alayhi salatu wasalam. But again, the stories of the prophets, they are very related to us. Okay, there's no point of just again saying the story without relating it. Subhanallah, one of the biggest sins they did was qutta' turuq. They were actually bandits. Do we have bandits today in this day and age? Yeah, we do. We have them, subhanallah, in Melbourne, yani, right around us, the neighbors, mashallah, mubarak, and they actually, believe in the one God that we believe in, and they believe that they call themselves Muslims as well. These are the people that deal now with tobacco wars. What do? They go to the shop, obviously opening up tobacco shops. It's haram, but let's just say what they are doing so we can obviously resemble the two stories. They go to the shop and they say to you, look, if you don't pay me jizya, if you don't pay me a portion, I'm going to burn down your shop. You want me to protect you, you got to pay your taxes. Subhanallah, same concept. It's the exact same concept. Subhanallah, these people got punished for this sin, and we do this in the name of Islam sometimes. Same concept, subhanallah. So we see it today, and now it's actually escalating. It's not just tobacco wars, and now it's acai wars and spud daddy wars and all this food and whatnot. What a joke. But subhanallah, this is the reality that you and I see today very often, subhanallah. They also cheated in trade, and mashallah, subhanallah, how we see today Muslims, it's very hard to buy a car of a Muslim. It's very, very difficult, I'm being honest. As soon as they, subhanallah, put up a car sale ad and his name is Muhammad Mustafa Ahmad Khalid, whatnot, akhi, leave it. Don't even bother. That's how our name, our reputation has become. Because now, these people, these Muslims, in the eyes of people, seem to be of those who are cheaters. Where our Prophet ﷺ, our role model, was known to be as-sadiq and al-amin, the most truthful and the most honest. Whereas now the Ummah of Muhammad ﷺ, illa ma rahman, obviously there's a lot of good people out there. But the reality is, and subhanAllah, it's sad that that's the one that's always pushed and propagated, is that many of the Muslims are in this subhanAllah business of how am I going to scam someone. It's like a trade, it's like an art, and they celebrate it and they enjoy it and they speak about it while in coffee shops and so on and so forth. Wallah, I scammed that person, and I ripped off this person, and I robbed that person, and so on and so forth. And subhanAllah, it's been happening in the community for many, many years. In other words, وَلَا تُفْسِدُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ بَعْدَ إِصْلَاحِهَا. They used to corrupt the land. They shirk, and also corruption in its wideness. Another thing that they were really known about was they used to awful kayla wal mizan. They used to sell the food or whatever it may be, and they used to say it actually weighs more than what it is or less than what it is, and they used to take its profit. Like I said, they used to scam people. That's what they were known for. They used to scam the people in Madian. So, what's surprising is how you're scamming yourself. When you scam, your community is scamming yourself too, in other words. But, subhanAllah, when people are greedy, they don't see in front of them, they don't see the light, and they're just covered with darkness. Ask Allah Azza wa Jal to protect us and preserve us, inshallah. وَإِلَى مَدْيَنَ أَخَاهُمْ شُعَيْبًا قَالَ يَا قَوْمِ اعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ مَا لَكُمْ مِنْ إِلَٰهٍ غَيْرُهُ. The same message as every prophet. He goes to Madian, Shuaib alayhi salatu wasalam, and he first calls them to Allah, to worship Allah Azza wa Jal. Monotheism. Monotheism, my brothers and my sisters, it's for that the heavens and earth were created. Monotheism, it's for that Jannah and Jahannam has been created. Monotheism is for that you and I, even the jinn were created. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. Allah Azza wa Jalla mentioned in the Quran, and He advises the people of Madian through Shuaib alayhi salatu wasalam when He says, بَقِيَّةُ اللَّهِ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ إِن كُنتُم مُؤْمِنِينَ. إِن كُنتُم مُؤْمِنِينَ. Baqiyya means the Prophet. When you trade, the Prophet that you make. بَقِيَّةُ اللَّهِ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ إِن كُنتُم مُؤْمِنِينَ. Subhanallah, we get trapped in this world so bad that the way we think now is the more I can scam someone, the more happy I am and the more better I am, and so on and so forth. And clearly throughout the stories and in this story, Allah Azza wa Jalla has clearly mentioned that this is not better. When He says بَقِيَّةُ اللَّهِ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ إِن كُنتُم مُؤْمِنِينَ, if you were true believers, you will understand and comprehend. If we were true believers in Allah Azza wa Jalla, we will understand and comprehend that if we made a 1% profit, it's far better than 100% profit in haram. Wallahi, that 1% profit in halal, blessed, is far better and more blessed, and it's heavier than 100% profit in haram. This is just these words. بَقِيَّةُ اللَّهِ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ إِن كُنتُم مُؤْمِنِينَ. But the reality is, you and I will never understand this, that 1% is better than 100% profit if we're not true believers. إِن كُنتُم مُؤْمِنِينَ. So this is something that we need to understand and comprehend going forward بإذن الله عز وجل. Throughout the Quran, you see that Allah Azza wa Jal, He always reminds us that this world is an illusion, and the profits that you make in this world isn't worth sacrificing and selling the akhirah. Allah Azza wa Jal mentions in the Quran, لا يستوي الخبيث والطيب ولو أعجبك كثرة الخبيث. He says, Jalla Jalaluh, that the good and evil, it's not the same. It's not the same. Even if the evil, the higher profit is appealing, it's beautiful. Don't be fooled. He says, Jalla Jalaluh, يَمْحَقُ اللَّهُ رِبَا وَيُرْبِي صَدَقَاتِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He destroys the riba. He hates the riba and He blesses the halal trade. The halal trade. In other words, you make more money in riba sometimes, but subhanAllah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, I'm going to bless the trade. I'm going to bless being a tradesman, subhanAllah, or money done in a halal way, a business that is open in a halal way, bi'ithnillahi azza wa jal. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then says, He showcases the da'wah of Shuaib alayhi salatu wa salam. He said, قال يا قوم أرأيتم إن كنت على بينة من ربي ورزقني منه رزقا حسنا. In this verse, when Shuaib alayhi salatu wasalam was mentioning the subhanAllah, the da'wah, and saying, come back to Allah Azza wa Jal, this prophet is not worth it, so on and so forth. What did they come back and tell him? What's wrong with you, Shuaib? Come on, jump into the trade, give us, let's work together, you actually make more of a profit. And للأسف, إلا من رحم ربي as well, you see these وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, people in our community, they'll go to the masjid and they'll go to centers and they'll say, Ya akhi, Allah, I'll give you money. But be quiet. I'll give you money. Let me stick with the tobacco wars and the drug wars and all these kind of things. But quiet. Just take. And it's the same thing. They did it to the Prophet. They're doing it to us. And we will be challenged in this. This is part of life. We will be challenged. If every one of us who are holding, you don't have to be a prophet, you don't have to be a shaykh, you don't have to be a da'i. You will get tested. You will have a business and you'll be tested. Someone will come to you and try to give you an idea that will bring haram into your income. So what does he say? Shuaib alayhi salatu, he says, Ya ammi, why would I trade what I have that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed me? This clean cup of water, for example. Why would I put a dot of ink, black ink, into this beautiful white, clear, crystal, amazing water? Why would I do this? Because if we were to put one drop of ink, one drop in that cup of water, you and I will never drink that cup. And this is the same thing. After Allah Azza wa Jalla blesses you and I, whether it's opening up a business, whether it's management, whatever it may be, you will have people come to you. It's part of your test. You will have people coming up to you and they say to you, Amir, why don't you do it in this way? It doesn't matter, scam this person. It doesn't matter, don't make more money, put it in more pocket. This is the world, brother, this is the world we live in. Now we see this constantly happening. After Allah Azza wa Jal, I'll give you an example. After Allah Azza wa Jal has blessed you to open up a convenience store, general, a small supermarket, it's a big blessing, it's a business. Something that you've opened up, bi'idhnillah Azza wa Jal. And then you say to yourself, someone comes to say, Ammi, wallah, convenience store is amazing, it's good. But if you sell smokes, that's where the money is, bro. How many times do I say this? How many times do we hear people say, but if you got a convenience store, it's not going to make you a good profit. You make a profit, 10%, but you want a good return. You gotta start selling cigarettes, for example. And something that you see constantly happening in the Muslim shops today. Wallah al-Azim. We saw it once in America, in the UK, the sheikhs are now going to these, subhanAllah, shops and saying, this is haram. It's not makruh, it's haram, you can't sell these things. But this is the reality that, subhanAllah, and we are living in today. And wallahi, don't be fooled, because as soon as you take this on and you start selling it, after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless your business, it's like that dot of black ink into that crystal, beautiful water that you have. It's gone, it's corrupted, it's finished. Where your income becomes haram, your sustenance becomes haram, you giving your children and your family haram, and then that's where you get, as Pastor mentions, in the dua, it's not accepted anymore. The person won't be accepted, the dua won't be accepted. And if your dua, your call to Allah Azza wa Jalla is not accepted, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala won't accept us. Ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to protect us and preserve us. Again, baqiyatullah, here it comes. Yes, you might get a profit, a higher profit if you indulge in haram. But for what? What are you sacrificing? In the end, this world is gone, finished. There's no way to it. What happens after? What happens when you drop dead? Is it worth it? Then no, it's not going to be worth it. Wallahi, it will not be worth it. And you and I need to constantly remind ourselves. Okay, we need this reminder. Saying, Ya muqallib qulub thabbit qalbi ala dinik. Oh, the turn of hearts, keep my heart steadfast on the deen. Why? Because you're blessed now. It doesn't mean you're going to be challenged. Wallahi, you and I will be challenged constantly. That's the mission of the shaitan. And the shaitan comes in jinn form or in human form. And let's be honest, the human form, there's a lot of them these days. Yeah, you can see them and they're coming at you. Very important that you always make this dua, inshallah. You open up a business, you open up something, people will come to you, people will say scam, take shortcuts in trade, whatever it may be. Akhi, take a shortcut, akhi. They tell you, you've quoted them for example, painting. 3 coats, you do, 2 coats, for example. You say to them, it's going to be like, 80% paint and 20% water, whatever it may be, and you give them 10% paint and 90% water. This is haram. This is part of, subhanallah, the story of Shuiab A.S. Don't let that haram enter your business. You're bigger than this, you're better than this, and wallahi, that profit that might be a smaller margin, wallahi, it is much more beneficial, bi'idhnillahi azza wa jal. طيب. Shuaib alayhi salatu wasalam, he then mentions an enticement. He entices his ummah. He says, وَاذْكُرُوا إِذْ كُنْتُمْ قَلِيلًا فَكَثَّرَكُمْ. He first begins with the enticement method, and this is the method of da'wah that all of us need to always begin with. Entice them, remind them of the good things. Make them love Allah Azza wa Jal. Remind them of the goodness of Allah Azza wa Jal. Always begin with enticement, at-tarhib. And then he says, Jalla Jalla, he goes, وَاذْكُرُوا إِذْ كُنْتُمْ قَلِيلًا فَكَثَّرَكُمْ. The ulama here say that they had, subhanAllah, the money here was very little. The sustenance was very little. Then Allah Azza wa Jal blessed them. Did you forget? Don't forget Allah Azza wa Jal. And this constantly happens to us. We're poor, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses us. What do we do when we're blessed? What do we do? So Shuaib alayhi salatu wasalam mentions the enticement first. Then he says, وَانظُرُوا كَيْفَ كَانَ عَاقِبَةُ الْمُفْسِدِينَ. Enticement, then intimidation. They come hand in hand. You got these modern Muslim mashayikh that say to you, brother, they use intimidation. No, Allah Azza wa Jal, the one that cares about the ummah and cares about us more than we care about ourselves, He used it in the Quran, so we're going to use it. The prophets who are the best of people and the most wisest of people, they use intimidation and enticement. So we're going to use it in our da'wah method. This is very important, because now you got the subhanAllah, the trend of mashaykh. If you say one thing that harms or gets people upset, or you bring Jahannam, or you bring the day of judgment, or you bring someone and so forth, well, you're not a good da'i. We're all good da'is when we get the method of the Quran with wisdom, with a bit of wisdom, isn't it? It's the way you say it. It's not what you say, it's the way you say it, bi'idhnillahi azza wa jal. So he says to them, intimidation. And don't forget, and remember those who caused corruption on the land, what happened to them. وَمَا قَوْمُ لُوطٍ مِّنكُمْ بِبَعِيدٍ. And he says in another verse, and the people of Lut, they're not far away from you guys. Ulama here differed. What does this mean? It means either they weren't far away, as in place, because they're close in Urdun, in Jordan, or they say that they weren't far away in zaman, as in subhanallah, in dates wise, as in they weren't far away, maybe 50, they remember them in history, so that their years weren't very far away from Madian and Lut, alayhim salatu wasalam. And the third opinion, and all connected, but the third opinion is وَمَا قَوْمُ لُوطٍ مِّنكُمْ بِبَعِيدٍ, is that what Lut did, the people of Lut did, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, they are very similar to what you are doing, causing corruption on the land, and you saw what happened to Lut. Don't let that happen to you. What was the reply of the people of Madian? How did they react to an advice that had enticement and intimidation? And all of this inshallah in the next lesson. Ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to reward you all and bless you all. أقول قولي هذا وبارك الله فيكم وجزاكم الله خير. سبحان الله. يا الله. السلام.